Beast. Well, you knew that I would, didn't you? Royal Enfield 650 Continental GT. I bought it for the reasons I mentioned on one of my previous videos. You know, you've always got to try to live your life and enjoy it and have fun and the things you want to do, but there's also this balance about the state that the world's in and the degree of mistrust and suspicion that's surrounding people and pulling the strings. But I fancied one, I wanted one for a long time, so I went to look at a few and this was the best. Let's tell you a bit about it then. It's a 2019 model, but it's only got, well, when I had it delivered today, it's got 1,902 miles on the clock, so barely running. Cafe racer style. It's an antenna. That number plate, that tax disc, it's only for decoration. Obviously the bike isn't 1968, October 1968. I am, but not the bike. Oh yeah.
Is this yours?
Yes it is, yeah. I'm just doing a video of it.
Is it an Indian produced one?
It is, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, do you like the look of it?
Sorry?
Do you like the look of it?
I certainly do.
Yeah,
Has it come like that?
Yeah, that's standard.
What is it?
Yeah. It's the 650 Continental GT.
Right.
And it comes with the, well, this particular model, they call it Mr. Clean. It's the one with the chrome tank. They do different colour schemes, but essentially the same.
Well, I'll tell you what I've ridden.
Go on.
A long time ago, I'm 76 now.
Yeah.
An Enfield Constellation.
Yeah,
Do you know what that was?
Yes,
The
I do.
700?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the 700s. Well,
Yeah.
I've always been into bikes, so
Really?
although that was before my time, I've always,
Right.
you know,
Well,
I've
my
been
mate
aware
was
of what they
a
were.
motorcycle mechanic,
Yeah.
and he was the finest mechanic I've ever known, because he could just listen to an engine for 5 or 10 minutes, a car or a motorbike.
Yeah.
And
You've
it
got
had an
mechanical
advance and retard
yeah.
on it.
Mechanical
Yeah,
sympathy.
and his dad was the cemetery superintendent for a mining village in Kent.
Right.
And do you know where I rode the 700?
Rode the cemetery.
In the cemetery, because I didn't have a full licence.
Well, the pipes on this would wake the dead.
Do they really?
Probably get left
It's
on the
just a
council
twin,
to get
is
past
it?
the cemetery there. Yeah, I've only picked it up today. It was delivered about 1:10 this
So
afternoon.
we just had it?
Just had it, yeah. So I'm videoing it,
I
yeah.
saw it, I thought that's an Enfield.
Yeah.
I remember they were still doing very basic 500s some years ago.
Yes.
When I was at Bible College in Birmingham.
The bullets.
Right.
It was
really old style.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
But
They one detonation every lamppost, I think, on the 500 bullets. Yeah.
But I had a Bonnie in the end.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I had a Bonnie, but it leaked oil. Yeah.
They do.
They'd stripped the thread on the oil sump, and it was blocked up with a cork.
Oh no.
And they said to re-tap it, they'd have to take the engine down.
Yeah.
And I bought it for £300 in Exeter.
It was, believe it or not, it was a Triumph Bonneville that got me into bikes initially.
Really?
Because I was a teenager, I was coming up to 16, I wanted
Yeah.
to get myself, I had a job collecting money for the bread man, the baker, riding around every Friday night, working after school. And I built up enough money to get a moped. And Mum and Dad obviously they weren't going to go for that. Yeah, they're not going to have
my
a
first bike without telling my parents.
Yeah, well I had
Was
to.
a BSA Bantam. With a magneto, no battery.
If
you went up a hill in the
days.
dark, the lights got dimmer.
as the engine slowed down.
Oh,
But magnetos seem to be okay for light aircraft, aren't they? So it's
really?
But it's the Bonneville. I mean, Mum and Dad's friend Gary, he had a Silver Jubilee 750 Bonnie,
right.
one of the
A
last
750.
one of the last Meriden ones.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad says to him, take him out on it, right, scare the living daylights out of him, so he won't want a bike.
That was you?
Yeah, that was me. So Gary took me on the back and he took me all the way around Darlaston and Bilston.
Oh,
absolutely.
I'm from Walsall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. caning the valves off this thing and trying to scare me. But when I got off, I thought, well, if that's what an old British bike can do, what can a new Japanese bike do? And I wanted motorbikes all the more after that.
Still got, do you know what I've got in my backyard?
Go
I've
on.
got a Honda 404.
Yes, they're a beautiful bike.
Yeah,
One of the first 4-cylinder middleweights.
Yeah. Well, when I had bought it off my second lodger, who was a Jewish Christian, because I'm a minister.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realise it was a small classic bike, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I came back from Jamaica, I hadn't got any work, and the clutch cable went.
Yes.
And I knew it wouldn't pass the MOT. The front tyre wasn't up, so I stood it up, and it's been in the backyard for years, covered up. But
It's well, as long as it's not deteriorating, it's only going up in value.
I know.
Because I've seen some of the ones now, they're not restored.
Right.
They're all original, or sometimes even they've just been used as hacks, and the price is going astronomical on them. It's an antidote to modern living.
Yeah, I must advertise it
Mm-hmm.
and sort of say, you know, best offer or something, because I just don't know what it's worth. I mean, it's been stuck in my backyard for 20 years under a cover.
Yeah.
You know, but I'll tell you something. I could change gear without the clutch cable.
Just match the revs.
Yeah. Just. It was so smooth.
Yes.
I
They
thought,
are.
no grating at all.
No.
You
Well, I've never had a 400 before. I had a 750 single hard red cam F2, the Honda.
Okay.
Not the very first issue, the 1969 issue. It was back 1975, I think we saw it. If I remember right.
Steve. I'm talking bike.
Sorry, Steve.
So where do you live now?
Lichfield. Yeah,
Oh, right.
just round the corner.
We've just come up for the day
Yeah.
to go and have a look around the cathedral, and we're going back actually for the service.
Oh, brilliant! Yes.
But we went. We had fish and chips off the wagon at lunch. That was his thing.
Brilliant.
But I wanted a cream tea at
Yeah,
tea
you don't
time.
mind being videoed, do you?
No, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm a street preacher, so I get
Oh,
videoed by the
excellent!
police.
Yeah, God bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
spreading the gospel's the thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You-
I'm
you
a believer.
believe-
I'm saved.
Oh,
Yeah, I got.
Steve, come here.
Yeah, I was
This man's a fellow believer.
baptised like a right, Steve.
He's saved.
All right, mate.
I was at Steve's. But you won't believe it. This man. How old are you now, Steve? 50 something.
Yeah.
I was at his baptism when he was. What were you? 18?
Well,
Long
that's
time
it.
ago.
super.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I'm in my late 70s, so it does well to serve God.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you worship somewhere here?
I used to get to Kingsmead in Ephase, Kingsmead Baptist Church.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that an independent?
It is,
Baptist?
yes.
Right.
But I stopped going not because of any other reason.
Yeah.
That I lost my job in 2020, and when I started back, I've started doing rotating shifts. So I'm doing days and nights, and a bit of overtime as well.
Okay.
And I'm either in bed at work,
Yeah.
or I've just finished, and I don't feel like it. But I always give praise and worship at home.
Praise
And
God.
yeah.
Praise
Yeah,
God.
never a day goes by, you know, because
Bless
we
you,
owe
man.
all
What's
this.
your name?
Lee.
Lee.
We owe all this to the Lord. No, nothing else. Yeah, we owe everything to the Lord. And
Praise God.
yeah.
Yay.
No.
God, man.
Let him know you're grateful every single day for what you've got.
I've had several displaced vertebrae in my spine.
Yes.
6 months ago I was walking like this. So I don't know whether it's healed or whether it's just the warmer weather, but the NHS have been brilliant, but
Yeah.
I've seen an orthopaedic surgeon at New Cross.
Yes.
And he said there's nothing we can do for you. But I was having spasms and all sorts, but I'm completely free of pain at the
Yes.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pray for you.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Bless you. Yeah. My name's Stuart.
I'll shoot.
STEW. Like Irish
Yeah.
Stuart.
Yeah.
And usually his dad would come out with us once a year, but they're getting really infirm.
Yeah. So you're off around the cathedral.
Yeah, I said there's another lake up here, we'll go and walk round it. And I'll tell you what, we went for a cream tea
Yes.
in the cafe by the thing.
Yes.
And when I got my 15 quid out, they said it's cash only, and I left my card at home.
Oh.
And this
yeah.
man, I think he's the choir conductor,
Yeah.
and I said, oh, is there another place we can go? He said, listen, it's done.
Oh, beautiful. That's really
Isn't that
nice.
lovely?
So cash only.
No, the place by the cathedral
Yeah.
is card only.
Card
But
only.
there was another place,
Okay.
another cafe. It was cash only.
Yes.
But I topped up my
Well, I'm a firm believer in cash.
Well, I am.
Yeah.
But sometimes I've had to go somewhere. Like I'm a cricket nut.
Yes.
And some cricket grounds you can pay cash.
But some won't accept it.
Right.
Yeah.
I went to watch Kent play Nottingham the other day.
Mm-hmm.
We got thrashed after I left.
Yeah.
But going in, I could pay cash or card.
Yeah.
But all the refreshments were card only.
Card only. Yeah, they've
so-
got you, haven't they?
Anyway.
It's good to meet you, Stuart, and you too, Steve. Yeah. Enjoy your visit for the rest of the day. Good to meet you.
Bless you.
And you too, brother.
Yeah. I used to ride a bike a bit like that a long time ago, but that one's made in India. Made in India.
India,
It's where was it they were originally made?
Redditch.
Redditch.
Yeah,
I've been there.
yeah.
Yeah. I had us explore last year on the train. I went down to Redditch on the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big thing on the wall.
I think there's still a few, although it's made in India, I think there's still a few specialist Enfields, little shops and stores and dealers around the Redditch area. A bit of a legacy, I suppose, when they used to make the bikes there.
Well, they've got a mural about it.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, on the wall.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. He's just got it. Right. Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll say if I don't know whether I'll see someone here. If I don't see you here, I'll see you there.
We will. We fly soon.
Yes.
With any luck.
I believe that as well.
See you, gents. Bless them. Royal Enfield, clearly a Christian bike. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, modification so far. It's got the twin reverse megas on it. Very, very loud. Let me. It sounds like. Let's just show you that again. Reminds me of my power valve when I used to turn that on, and the valve used to clean itself. But it's the engine on it. It's a bit noisy because of these megas. Sounds like an MG42 on Alma High Beach. Listen to this. The engine's warm. So it's air and oil cooled. Single disc, that's plenty. Trying to think what else I can tell you about this. I'm going to make some minor modifications. I want fork gaiters, like the rubber gaiters on here, to protect the stanchions, because they can pick up stone chips, and you can, if they've got little chips sometimes, you can pinch the seals. There's a modification that you can clip into the wiring loom. It's not a lot of money. It's called the booster plug, and what it does, it basically overrides the part of the fuel injection system, the monitoring. So because as standard, they're set up obviously very, very lean for the emissions, and it kind of like overrides that. So it doesn't make it more powerful, but it smooths the power delivery out and gives you more torque. The engine runs more efficiently. It's more environmentally friendly, but it wouldn't go through the manufacturer's, past an MOT, no problem, but it wouldn't go through the manufacturer's Euro. I think it's Euro 4 when this one's made. So I'm going to do that. I bought some crash bars for it, but they haven't been delivered yet. And then basically it's a protector that runs around the frame, so if the thing does go over, it doesn't do too much damage, and it looks good as well, shiny. I was going to change the mirrors for chrome ones, but I quite like the look of the black ones now. Yes, so like you might have heard me saying to the nice gentleman Stuart just, and his friend Steve, originally Royal Enfield is the oldest continuous motorcycle manufacturer on the planet, or on the flat earth, depending on whose side you are. So they were started in amazingly 1901, I think, which is like strange because that's what the bike had got on the clock when I saw it at the dealers last week. It's got 1902 when I picked it up because it got MOT'd. So yeah, they originally British manufacturer. That was made in Redditch. The company initially started in the 1850s, I think, as a needle manufacturer. And I'd laugh my doodah off if that turned out to be an hypodermic needle manufacturer. But yeah, it went into precision production, and when motorcycles started to become popular in the early 20th century, then they got into the game. Royal Enfield made some competition beating bikes through the years, but like all the British bike manufacturers, they rested on the laurels. They was making money hand over fist. They was importing them to America. They couldn't build them fast enough. Everybody wanted them, and they didn't invest in new designs. Well, the Japanese come along and beat the pants off them, really. The Japanese bikes have got multi-cylinders, like that 404 and that CB750 that I was talking to Stuart about. They've got electric starts. The Japanese have got disc brakes, all kinds of modern features, and they was well built. They didn't leak oil, and the British couldn't compete. They tried for a few years, and the British basically went the way of the flesh. Now, in the 1950s, when Enfield and all the British manufacturers were selling tons of these things, the Indian market was opening up. It was after war, after independence in 1947, and the Indians wanted transport, and they wanted something suitable for their roads, which was, a lot of them was potholes and rutted, so they needed something hardy and easy to fix, because not every village has got a mechanic, or not everybody's got a toolkit. It was a deprived country back then, certainly not now, except in some places. So Royal Enfield initially started sending over kits, completely knocked down kits of the Bullets, the 500s and the 350s. And then after a while, it just made more sense for the Indians to set up their own production line and building them over there. Well, in the late 60s, the Royal Enfield British division, it had basically had its day. But the one in India was thriving because it was producing cheap bikes for a market that wanted it. Well, anyway, this carried on, and then I think it was in about 1977, something like that. Don't quote me on it. But the Indians started importing bikes back into the UK because the bike market had changed. People here wanted cheap transport back then because of the fuel crisis and all the rest of that. So anyway, this carried on, and the Indians invested in new machinery, and that was doing really, really well. And then a couple of years ago, they decided to expand the range, so they went from the 500 singles and needed a 650 twin, which this is. So what they did, they employed a British company called Harris. Now, if you used to buy Performance Bikes magazine, you normally get a Harris special. Harris, they used to make frames, Harris, and you usually get specials on the back page of Performance Bikes magazines. You usually get like a Kawasaki or a Suzuki turbo engine in them. So Harris know their stuff when it comes to chassis and motorbike handling and design. So they got Harris to design the bike. So it's a British design bike, but built in India. They've got 3 factories. I'm going to probably link in the description a link to one of the Indian factories, and they're all modern. They say Backstreet Dirty Hands workshops. These are modern production facilities. So I ain't a fan of globalisation, but this really, it's an Indian bike. It was originally a British company, and now it's an Indian company, like Land Rover Jaguar and many others. I mean, Aston Martin ain't even British anymore, but and that's where it's at. So it's a British designed bike. It's built in a state-of-the-art facility, or one of 3 in India, and there are 2 versions of the 650. This is the GT Continental. They do one called the Interceptor, which has got higher handlebars, and the foot pegs are a bit further forward, so it's a bit more comfortable. And that's about it. So I'm glad I bought it. Been riding around all afternoon. I've been to take it to see my mum and dad. I like the fact that it looks like it's straight out of 1968. I'm done with speed and riding fast. I just want something to plod around on. This has got a lot of mid-range. It's not a fast bike, but it pulls out of corners like me in the gym on the lat pull down machine. It's brilliant. My last bike was an FJ 1200. I got rid of that in 2016. I sold it to a good friend at work. And this feels, although it's a 650, because of the way the engine's tuned for mid-range, it feels equally as powerful as that 1200 when you're at road, just normal road speeds, you're not frapping it. So I'm going to leave it there and say, well, that's one down. Next one now, my next goal in my personal life, what I'm aiming for, is that flight, as I said, in the Spitfire. God bless.